Zuko's redemption in Avatar: The Last Airbender isn't just a story. It's a surgical study of trauma. We meet him as a 16-year-old with a permanent burn mark on his face, a gift from his father, for the crime of showing empathy in a war room. For 3 years, Zuko lives in a state of cognitive dissonance. He believes his honor is a physical object that can only be returned to him by the man who tried to kill him. This makes Zuko's early villainy deeply tragic. Every time he tries to capture Aang, he is actually trying to capture his father's love. The true genius of the writing happens in Season 2. Stripped of his ship and his royal status, Zuko is forced to live as a refugee in the Earth Kingdom. He sees the Fire Nation's brutality through the eyes of the victims. In the episode, Zuko Alone, he tries to be a hero for a small village, but when he reveals his identity, they reject him. He learns that a name doesn't mean anything if the actions behind it are poisonous. The arc reaches its peak at the end of Season 2, where Zuko actually regresses. He betrays his uncle Iroh and sides with his sister, Azula. This is vital. Most shows make redemption a straight line, but Avatar understands that people often go back to what's comfortable even if it's toxic. Zuko goes home, he gets his title back, and he is miserable. He realizes that winning the wrong way is worse than losing. When he finally confronts his father during the eclipse, he isn't just joining the heroes, he is divorcing himself from a century of hate. He spent 60 episodes trying to find his honor, only to realize he had it the moment he decided to walk away. In the final season of Samurai Jack, we are introduced to the daughters of Aku. 7 sisters raised in a subterranean cult to believe that Aku is a benevolent god and Jack is a blue-eyed demon. Ashi is the standout. Her childhood was a nightmare of physical abuse and psychological conditioning. She wasn't just taught to kill Jack. She was taught that the very sun in the sky was a gift from Aku. When Jack finally captures her, he doesn't kill her. Instead, he forces her to see the world. This is the deprogramming phase. Ashi watches as Jack saves a village of innocent creatures, and she sees the scorched earth Aku has left behind. The moment she sees a forest for the first time, actually seeing the life and beauty she was told was sinful. The cult's walls crumble. Her redemption is a battle of identity. She has to reconcile the fact that she was born of Aku's essence, but chooses to have a human heart. She becomes Jack's greatest ally, eventually gaining control over her own dark powers to send Jack back to the past. The tragedy of Ashi is that her redemption is so complete that she sacrifices her own existence for the sake of the future. She chooses a world without her in it, as long as it's a world without Aku. For the first few seasons of Adventure Time, the Ice King was just a punchline, a weird old man who kidnapped princesses because he was lonely. But then came I Remember You. We learned that the Ice King was once Simon Petrikov, a brilliant archaeologist who found a cursed magical crown. During the Mushroom War, Simon realized the crown was the only thing that could protect a young, orphaned vampire girl named Marceline. Every time Simon put on the crown to save her, a piece of his mind died. He chose to become a monster so she could stay a child. The Ice King's redemption is unique because he doesn't earn it through a moral choice in the present. He earned it through a sacrifice in the past that he can't even remember. The redemption is actually on us, the audience. We have to forgive him for his creepy behavior because we realize it's the symptoms of a magical dementia. By the end of the series, the heroes stop treating him like a villain and start treating him like a grandfather who needs care. When he finally regains his sanity in the series finale, it isn't a victory of magic, but a victory of love that survived 1,000 years of madness. Vegeta is the longest-running redemption arc in shonen history. When he first arrived on Earth, he was a genocidal mercenary who killed his own partner Nappa without blinking. He viewed mercy as a weakness and family as a liability. His transition from a villain to a rival, and finally to a hero, took over 200 episodes and 2 decades of real-world time. The turning point was the Namek saga. Vegeta realized he was just a pawn for Frieza, the man who destroyed his entire race. For the first time, his pride was broken, but the real change happened on Earth. He married Bulma and had a son, Trunks. Suddenly, the man who only cared about his own power had something to lose. His ultimate moment of redemption happened during the Majin Buu saga. He allowed himself to be corrupted by Babiddi's magic just to feel evil again, thinking it would make him stronger. but he realized that he couldn't go back to the monster he used to be. His final atonement, blowing himself up to try and kill Boo, was the first time he ever fought for someone else. He didn't do it for the throne of the Saiyans. He did it for his wife and son. He went from a man who destroyed planets to a man who died to save one. Megamind's arc is a brilliant satire of the nature versus nurture debate. He was a blue-skinned alien whose pod landed in a prison, while his rival, Metro Man, landed in a mansion. He became a villain because he felt it was the only role the world would let him play. If I'm the bad guy, he thought, I'm going to be the best bad guy ever. His redemption starts with a crisis of purpose. He actually succeeds in killing Metro Man, only to find that life without a hero is boring. He creates a new hero, Titan, but Titan turns out to be a much worse villain than Megamind ever was. Megamind's redemption works because it's based on consent. He decides he doesn't want to be a villain anymore, even if the rules say he has to be. He falls in love with Roxanne Rich and realizes that he'd rather be a good guy who lives a normal life than a bad guy who lives in a lonely fortress. He proves that being a hero isn't about your origin story, it's about what you do when no one is watching. In the early 2000s, Kratos was the definition of toxic masculinity and unbridled rage. He murdered the Greek gods, destroyed the world, and didn't care who he stepped on to get his revenge. He was a man consumed by the ghost of Sparta. The ashes of his wife and daughter permanently fused to his skin as a reminder of his sins. The 2018 God of War is a masterclass in old man redemption. Kratos has moved to the Norse realms, started a new family, and is trying to bury the monster inside. His arc is about restraint. He doesn't want to kill, he wants to be a father. He is terrified that his son, Atreus, will inherit his bloodlust. Throughout the journey to the highest peak in the realms, Kratos has to learn to be vulnerable. He has to tell Atreus the truth about his past so the boy can choose a different path. Kratos' redemption isn't about the gods of Olympus forgiving him, it's about Kratos finally forgiving himself. He goes from a man who broke the world to a man who helps his son build a better one. Kevin Levin started Ben 10 as an unstable, 11-year-old with the power to absorb energy. He was a tragic figure, living in the subway, abandoned by society, and slowly losing his sanity because his powers messed with his brain chemistry. He was Ben's darkest reflection, a boy with power who had no one to guide him. The 5-year gap between the original series and Alien Force is where the heavy lifting happened. Kevin spent time in the Null Void, an interdimensional prison, where he met a mentor who taught him how to control his powers and his temper. When he returns, he isn't a villain. He's a black market dealer who eventually chooses to join Ben and Gwen. His redemption is grounded in accountability. He doesn't just become good. He works to make up for his past. He becomes the team's mechanic, their pilot, and Gwen's protector. His relationship with Gwen is the anchor of his redemption. She sees the man he can be, which gives him the strength to stop being the monster he was. Kevin proves that even a lost kid can become a pillar of the community if someone is willing to hand them a wrench instead of a pair of handcuffs. These 7 stories remind us that our past is a lesson, not a life sentence. Whether it's through fire, ice, or energy, the path to being better starts with a single choice. Subscribe for more.